Well, Nick Collier here, and here we are back at this project again. So today we're going to lay out our hole and figure out where lay out our slot and figure out where our three holes are and possibly drill those. Stick with me, we're going to have some fun. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and let's do a little diacom right here. We'll just have just a tad, and maybe just a bit up here. Come on. About right, we'll bring this one back a little bit. And this one forward. That should have us totally squared up. Might be good just to go ahead and drop this on the mill out this this slot, and at the same time we could drop a couple of holes in that part there. All right, we're going to be back. We got just enough room on that bit to cut the whole thing at one time. And I would hook up my automatic feed, except that when I put this new converter unit in, I couldn't figure out how to get my automatic feed motor working. So you know, and that's going to happen. I'm going to call the company and figure it out. But for now, I do it by hand. Well, good morning, Nick Collier here again, and today we're going to work on the backing plate, which is the part that goes against the dirt wall that protects the actual wheel hub itself and all of the hydraulic systems from dirt getting in on it and all that stuff. This is a 24 by 24 sheet of 1 inch, and it goes up against everything else, and but it probably weighs about 60 pounds, which, you know, for a young, strong guy, no problem, but a guy like me, you know, not so much. Anyhow, the guy wants me to make a couple of hand grips for it so that two guys can pick it up at one time. And he wanted me to make the hand grips at a 90 degrees, and I thought, you know, 60 pounds, that would like push against that top finger and kind of crush it. So I suggested we put it at a 30-degree angle, and that way two guys can pick it up, one on each side, and kind of carry it like this. And that, you know, that'd be pretty much easier. He says, okay, good for that. And when I have a young, strong, strapping guy that's going to carry it on his own, put one in the center too. So this is we're going to put a slot here, and a slot here for hand grips. Pretty much that's probably what we're going to work on today. But who knows? We may be able to get to some other things too. So stick with me. Hey, let's have some fun grinding. We're going to take it all the way over to this little black line over here. Well, okay, so we're in good shape there. Let's have a look and see if it's going to fit our hands, and it's going to be an easy grip. It looks like it's going to be just fine. Now let's see what that surface looks like. I think it's pretty good. I mean, you know, it could be a little cleaner, but do I want to make another pass? I don't think so. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move this out to this edge here, because this is a rough edge that I cut with the skill saw actually, and so we're just going to square that up and get it nice and square with this surface here. Well, that was easy. Now we'll just go in and we're going to rotate this around and put another handhold right here in the center, and then another one over here on the left hand side. So let's go ahead and break this loose. Okay, I don't know if you can see it or not because it's starting to get to the end of the day, but we've got our handholds done, we've got our slot done, and now what we have to do is get rid of this really sharp edge. And the way I do it with aluminum, which makes it a lot easier than going ahead and getting a radius cutter and putting it on the mill and trying to square up everything, is I just come in with a router and a regular wood bit, and it works great. Just trims it right off, no sweat. So that's what we're going to do for the next minute or two. Put on some headgear here. Okay, so we've rounded the edges, and you can see that, you know, it's still pretty rough, but I think just before I take it to the customer, I'm going to come back in with a, you know, a sander and just take these edges down, the rough spots down. But it takes the sharpness off of the grips and off of the plate itself. So let's go back inside and do some drilling. Okay, this plate is very close to being done. We've got 3 more things to do. If you notice the dots 1, 2, and 3, we're going to drill some holes in that plate and set up some indexing holes so that when the plate bellies up against the housing for the wheel, that it has a place to kind of rest, and so that it stays even, so that the cable can go right through the center of the slot there. Hi, Nick Collier here, and we're back on the plumbing tool project. I've drilled out the first set of holes. Hang on a second. We're going to come in with a transfer punch. All right, let's find one that fits. There it is. All right, I'm going to throw a little sandpaper on this because it's got a little bit corroded over the years. Just clean it up just a little bit. All right, that slips right in, I think. put a little bit of WD-40 on there just to help it down. All right, answer the phone. Be right back. Okay, we got our transfer punch. We're just gonna do just a light tap because it's aluminum for one, and for another, I don't want this thing moving. We'll run our punch down this hole here, and that's number 3. That back. Take our plate off, and we should have 3 punched holes, and we do. So we're just going to put a little circle around them so we don't lose track. 3. Then we're going to take all of this apart and take the plate over, drill it out to the correct size, and then put our bolts in from the back side. Okay, let's pull some bolts out. Maybe. I might have them pretty tight. Yep, I guess they're pretty tight. Okay, let's drill ourselves 3 holes. And we're going to bring our 3/4 bolt down in here. All right, it's going to be tight, but I think we'll end up going in, and I think what we're going to do is ream it out a bit and then go in and do a countersink, because I want to countersink to the minor diameter of the hex. And then I want to come back in and just sharpen up this inside edge a little bit so that I can use it as a cutting tool, and then narrow this down, the head down on the lathe, and then press it into the plate so that it actually sticks, and so that each of these edges acts as a cutting edge and presses all the way into the plate. And that will hold it in place and keep it from spinning. So I think what we'll do is just go ahead and drill out the rest of our holes. Okay, we centered up using the drill bit itself, and now we'll come back in and put the 3/4 in, and that's going to open us up to drill in a 3/4 hole. Let's see. Good. Got their gibs locked. I think we're ready to go. Okay, and since this is going to be a receiver, we'll go ahead and go in, since we're here and all centered up and everything, we'll go in and counter that. That's good. Okay, that one's in good shape. Now what we want to do is come in and do the two holes down here and here smaller, so that I can thread the holes and put a kind of a tapered pin in there. Okay, we got the holes drilled. Now we're going to run the tap in. Lucky for me, I got this giant tap handle, because the holes are undersized, and which means that it's going to be a pretty tight tap, and I want that because I want the threads to be super tight, because I do not want this coming back out. Let me look and see if we're square up. We are definitely square up. I want these this bolt to go in there and stay. Okay, we've taken this old beat up bolt, and we cut about 1 inch of threads off the end here, and now we need to, and we marked it, now we need to bring it into the lathe and cut this part off. And the way I'm going to cut it off is at about a 45-degree angle, and that'll give me the tapered entry that I want to, in order to be able to get this thing put together each time they put it together without any hassle. Can you see that? Probably not. Let's swing you around. And bring it a little closer. How's that? Okay, we flipped this thing upside down, and now we're going to take our bolt. Where's our bolt? There it is. And we're going to put some Loctite on it. Oh, first, before we put the Loctite on it, we want to sand this area here just to kind of prep around the bolt. Because eventually the whole thing is going to have this surface, and if once the bolt goes in, I'm not going to be able to get too close to it. So now I'll put a big pile of Loctite on here. Start our thread in. Crescent wrench time, and it's going to go in tight, which is exactly what we want. All right, just a quick polish to kind of just make it look nice and smooth off that roll over there. So now let's take it back in. Okay, we've got our pins in, and now we got to deal with the retainer bolt, meaning that the other plate will just kind of slip onto here, but there needs to be one bolt that kind of holds everything in place, and that's pretty much what he wants. So what I've done is I've trimmed this bolt head down, and I'm going to come in from the back side and create a counter bore that'll fit that'll make this bolt flush with the surface of the aluminum, and then bring that through the hole, and then take a nut, and probably not this castle nut because it's so cool, and trim a nut way down, and also do the same thing, create a reduced space so that the plate will fit on over the nut, and we'll be able to tighten everything up and do that. So right now I've centered my hole. I've got another transfer punch that fits that hole. We drag that out, and now we have to go and find a save that transfer punch for later. We're going to find a counter, or probably just a mill bit that's big enough to handle the nut. So we're going to go over there and dig around, and we'll be right back.